was going to be until yesterday. So
Yeah.
I never could get a hold of All again. The numbers that I had for him who were texting, they don't work anymore. So I don't know what happened. So anyway, so Bill was kind enough to step in at the last minute,
Thank
and
you.
he's always good for a few dozen words.
I'm going to start the meeting.
Okay.
Welcome to the North Texas Rotary E Club November 8th meeting. Uh, thank you, Bill, for coming. I had a speaker and they canceled the last minute, which makes it always hard to fix. So I appreciate you coming and filling in for them. And let's see, is there any new business that we need to discuss? Oh wait, we got to do the invocation and the salute. So why don't we do the invocation first? Yeah.
Okay. As we gather here this evening as members of Rotary, we pray that we are ever mindful of opportunities to render our services to fellow citizens and to our communities, to our country, and indeed to all countries and people. Bless our fellowship in Rotary. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Do you have your flag? There it is. Okay.
Hope it's coming apart. I got to put it in front of David.
Go ahead.
Okay.
He's handicapped now. He can't stop you.
No, it's okay. It's not in front of you.
What?
Okay.
You're just like the pledge.
Okay.
Okay.
Do the pledge, David.
Pledge.
Pledge allegiance
To
to
the
the
flag of the United States of America and to the
republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you, David and Linda. Does anyone have any new business that we need to discuss or old business?
Erica has some good news.
I am so excited, you guys. We hosted our first ever Pints for Polio last Tuesday night. We did a joint venture between Rotary E Club and the Preston Trails Rotary Club. Thanks to some great sponsors, we were able to fundraise $2,000 total. So that was $1,000 given on behalf of our club and $1,000 given on behalf of Preston Trails to Rotary International for End Polio.
Very nice.
So I'm super excited.
Yes.
Definitely a great outcome. I think we had probably 60 people show up and participate. So we got money from the food vendors. We had free beer donated, and then we had $1,000 sponsorship.
Nice.
So it was a really great event. So thank you. I'm excited.
Any other new business? Any old business?
Well, this next Saturday is roundtable, and Katrina has authorized, and Howard has authorized me to be our proxy since he won't be there.
No, it's hard
And
to
so
be there in Florida.
But also, you can be online. It will be virtual also.
I'm going to be on a cruise next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that
And,
won't work.
Other than that, I've been collecting gifts for the Christmas party for the CPS. And Chris, do I have yours?
You're muted, Chris.
You told me to bring it on the next.
Oh, the 22nd.
22nd.
Okay. Okay. So I'm getting more and more. So that's good. So thank everybody.
Okay.
And then our next meeting will be in person. You want to talk about that, Miss Linda?
It's going to be the 22nd at the Spring Creek Barbecue here in Irving. And 5:30, I've been going to this one doctor, and the receptionist's daughter is 16, and she plays the harp, and she wants to do background music for us while we're waiting to start the music. So I told her she could. And I had another picture here I hoped I could find.
Oh, and our speaker is the gentleman who was wounded in
Where's the...
Yes.
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 There he
The
is.
gentleman that was wounded. Yep. Perfect.
Shiloh.
Yep.
Yes.
Shiloh Harris.
Perfect.
And so we're all excited. I've invited a lot of people. I don't know how many will show up, but we do have the big room. David's got 8 speakers ordered so that we'll have some sound. And I think it'll go good. And here comes, who's Andrew?
I'm not sure.
That's Andy, my husband upstairs.
Oh, you
okay.
might want to reach Tushar. Maybe he'll go.
To what? Oh, the 22nd?
It's
Okay, yeah, I
possible.
will. We need to go see him anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have anything else, Howard. If
Okay.
you want me to introduce our speaker?
Sure. It's, Bill Dendy is very well known to us. He's one of the founders of our club, I believe, in its origins, and he's past district governor. And I've been in Rotary. I've been about 6 years now, 7 years. And of all the governors I've seen, Bill's been the best. I thought that was just my opinion, and he's just a really nice person to get to know. He does he's a lot like Linda. You know, Linda and Bill are Rotary. There's people like us that belong to Rotary, and we come to meetings and we do, and they make Rotary work. I mean, there's a lot of work that needs to be done beyond the meetings that we hold that keeps it going, the fundraising and all the different projects that go on, and people like Linda and David and Bill are the reason Rotary really works. And I have a lot of respect for what he does in Rotary, and he's just a really nice person. So I'm very pleased to introduce him. He's the chairman of the foundation for our district, and this is Foundation Month. So this is a good time for him to speak about the foundation. And you really want to get to know him if you're in the Dallas area. He also is a financial planner, and he's just starting up in Dallas again. Okay, he sold his company about a year ago, and he had a non-compete, and now he could come back. So if you're in Dallas and you're looking for a really good financial planner, Bill's a good person to know. And he does a lot for Rotary. He does a lot of traveling out of the country to Malawi and Cuba and Africa and South America on his own dime to help people. And there aren't a lot of people that do that. So I just want you to know he's above and beyond the ordinary Rotarian that most of us are. So I'm very happy to introduce him. I think of him as a friend as well. So welcome, Bill. Tell us about the foundation. It's great to see you.
It's really great to be here with everybody. And I love the fact that we can still get together from all over. This concept of an e-club was so foreign in 2008. The people said, how are you going to get people together? How are you going to be able to do any good? Well, it won't work. And I'm so grateful that years and years later, it continues to work. And for many people, they have adopted a hybrid model that was created by this club over 12 years ago as their going forward model within Rotary. So that even the ones that are still having physical meetings are doing the broadcast at the same time to include those who can't make it because they're traveling or because they're homesick or whatever the reason. And so you guys are the real pioneers within our district and within the organization. And I think the structure works really, really well for doing a lot of good things. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to serve as our foundation chairperson. And it's a 3-year job, and I'm second year into the job and have been able to appoint a lot, bring my friends in to help do the work. I think the foundation is a true gift to the world. As Rotarians, many times we don't realize how special our organization is and how special our foundation is of the work that can be done. And in fact, outside of our organization, I'm often surprised that people don't know who we are or what we're all about. Even the beneficiaries of our good efforts oftentimes don't really realize that it came from a Rotary Club and what Rotary is. And so I think it's up to us to share the good news of what we're able to do for the world, what we have done for the world, not in a braggadocious way, but in a way to say we're here to serve. We're grateful to have the opportunity to serve. And the ability to do some of the projects we take on is only accomplished by the funds that we're able to give to the foundation. I'd like to start off by asking our president here, Howard, did y'all play the foundation focus video in October for the club at any of the meetings?
I don't remember, but I'd certainly it would be worth showing it because there are new, we've got a we have a lot of new members. We've been very fortunate this year, and we've grown our club by quite a lot. And I don't think everyone here has seen it.
Okay. The foundation is such a big piece of our organization that in communication, I've started doing videos right here from this office to just catch people up with what we're doing each month. And unfortunately, people have to opt into the videos. I can only send the videos to the president of a club because some Rotarians were complaining that they were getting too much email. And unfortunately, I don't know if it's getting pushed out to those who might have an interest in things. So I'm going to encourage those of you who would like to opt in and receive information on the foundation or things that we work on to let me know. And Howard mentioned a few of the things that I enjoy doing. This year, I've taken 2 separate groups to Cuba. I'm just going to ask a show of hands here. Most of you are live on screen. I prefer it when you're live on screen because I can kind of see who I'm talking to and all. But just show of hands. How many of y'all like to travel anyway? It's just kind of fun to get around and travel because I love it. I really enjoy travel. My dad doesn't like to travel. Won't do it. He doesn't want to go anywhere. My mom, she likes to travel. So I'll take my mom on occasion. We'll go someplace and see the world. And I've enjoyed Rotary's giving me an excuse to do some of that sightseeing in the world. But I tell you, the most divine thing is not just traveling, but traveling, and then when you get there, do some good work. Traveling and seeing the people that we benefit through Rotary. Traveling with a purpose. Oh my gosh, it makes the travel so much better. And this year I've taken 2 groups of Rotarians to Cuba. Cuba has a great big need. They locked down Cuba. Tourists from America can't go to Cuba. But those who have the ability to do humanitarian work are welcome to go to Cuba. And it's still an unusual, phenomenal country that is somewhat oppressed. I felt safe in Cuba because they protect their tourists, and they had 100% vaccination rates in Cuba that fast because a communist dictatorship can make that happen. And I guess there's some, the lockdowns, they really worked there. Yet the people are phenomenal, and the people appreciate the good that we're able to provide for them. And the island has supply shortages across the board, and they need medication. And Baylor Scott and White here in Dallas provided us with an abundance of medication to their Faith in Action group. And as much as we can carry, we're able to take it to Cuba and provide direct relief to the Cuban people. And man, just seeing the country is worthwhile. But the gratitude of the people that we're serving, you won't find nicer people who are more grateful for the work that we do. I've taken several groups to Malawi, Africa, and I never thought I'd be interested in going to Malawi, Africa, but we had a mission here to go to Malawi. And so travel comes up quite a bit. Foundation giving, raising money for doing projects, learning how to participate, and learning how to give. All that stuff, I'm here to serve in any way I can, and I'll send out the videos to anybody who wants to be on the affirmative opt-in list. All you got to do is send me an email and say, put me on the list, and my email is easy. I did it years ago when I was getting my Rotary life and my business life all confused. My email is Rotary 5810, Rotary 5810 at gmail.com. Rotary 5810 at gmail.com. And I came to Rotary and I said, don't y'all want this email address? They said, no, we don't need that. That .com stuff, it won't take off. And I'm grateful I have the Rotary 5810 at gmail.com. It's been my separate Rotary address for the governor year and through the council legislation and through other things. But if you want the videos, just send me a quick email and say, Bill, send me your videos when you do them. I'm going to try to show one right now. I don't know how to optimize the video for sharing the screen and showing it. Let me know if it's terrible and I'll stop it. But if it's good enough, we're going to try to do a video real fast. So here we go, share screen. This is last month's video. And do y'all see it?
Yes.
Yes, you just have to push play.
Just push play. And I don't have to maximize, I don't have to optimize
No, it's
it.
maximized.
Nope, it's great.
22. And we have so much going on this month with October 24th being World Polio Day. And we challenge every club.
The sound is not loud.
Make it
Yeah,
louder.
see if you can turn it up a little bit.
World Polio Day is precious to us Rotarians. years ago, we may have been this close. We're still this close, but there's work to be done. And with the media coverage polio has received recently, with the emergence of polio virus in the wastewater in New York, people are more aware than ever of the importance of eradicating this disease. And as Rotarians, we have a unique opportunity to let people know how Rotary spearheaded this initiative back in the 1980s and has invested in the eradication of polio worldwide since 1985. With the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation matching our contributions 2-to-1, Rotary has a major challenge to raise the money to help end this disease. We're asking for every club to meet a $1,500 donation for the club to the eradication of polio. And almost just as importantly, we're encouraging every club to do some sort of a fundraiser or even just a public image event to get the word out on what Rotary has done for the eradication of polio. Whatever you do, please send a video, a picture, or just a narrative of what your club did for World Polio Day. Send it to Rotary5810@gmail.com. We'd like to show off the good work that all of our Rotarians are doing. If you do not have an event currently planned or don't have the bandwidth to do your own event, I encourage you to join in with another Rotary Club that's doing an event. The Rotary Club of Dallas is hosting, yet again, their Pints for Polio. This event raises some money, but also raises public awareness of Rotary's role in the eradication of polio. And Charles Dowden, who is spearheading the efforts, is inviting any club who wants to participate in the event. The Pints for Polio event will be held on World Polio Day on October 24th from 5:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. at the Manhattan Project Beer Company, located at 2215 Silver Street, Dallas, Texas. For more information, contact Charles Dowden directly at cwdowden53@gmail.com. For a $30 entry fee, you'll get a glass and 2 beers, plus you help fight polio. And you can do more if you want. Now, many clubs are asking, how do we raise money? What fundraisers make sense? And I'm telling you, it can be as simple as even Pies for Polio. As last round table, I absolutely got creamed. Thank you, Howard Templin. We raised $141 to see the governor get pied, and somehow it backfired. I got pied. I hope that we'll be able to raise maybe a little more and actually eventually get Howard Templin maybe for World Polio Day. And for those who are curious of how do other Rotary clubs raise money for the eradication of polio, or to provide scholarships locally, or to give to the foundation, we have collected several ideas throughout the district. And I know that most of our Rotarians do not give to the foundation for prizes or recognition. We give because we believe in the mission of this organization. And we believe that our foundation continually being ranked as one of the best charities in the world because we have Rotarians on both sides of the equation making sure our money is well spent. We give because we want to do good work, and we want to leverage our dollars to doing the good work, and we want to give to an organization that has the same beliefs that we have in the importance of doing good for humanity. However, to recognize the clubs and the club presidents that take the time to participate in World Polio Day and send videos, pictures, or narratives of the good work for polio, or even just take a moment to do a short paragraph of why the foundation is important to humanity. We'll be holding a raffle. We'll give you an opportunity to win a free cruise. This is an ocean view cabin on Royal Caribbean's Allure of the Sea, April 23rd to the 30th, during our district conference. Every club that participates will have a free entry to win this cruise. So that is a complimentary ticket in this raffle for any club that participates in World Polio Day. It takes a moment to send the picture, the video, or the narrative of what they did, or just writes a paragraph of why the Rotary Foundation is important to humanity. And you just send that to Rotary5810@gmail.com. The drawing will be held in January, and over the next 2 months, we'll have other opportunities to get individual tickets. These tickets are for the club. And if the club wins the drawing, the president will have the ability to use that cruise any way they see fit. Either take the cruise themselves for being such a great president, give it to the person who's their polio charity that did the work, or raffle it off as a fundraiser for the foundation. It's wonderful to have an opportunity to recognize those who are doing the work. And with this important mission for the eradication of polio and Rotary's prominent lead in this area, We think this is the year that it is so important that every club do something for World Polio Day. Next month is November, and that is Foundation Focus Month for Rotary. Also next month, we'll be announcing a special dinner for our major donors in February. As a big thank you for all the work that they do. Major donors are those who've given a cumulative $10,000 or more to the Rotary Foundation. And we will have a complimentary dinner to recognize these, and everybody will be invited to this dinner to toast the good work that major donors have done to make sure that we're able to fulfill our mission as an organization through the funds that have been donated by these generous philanthropists. So be on the lookout for more information on how you can get your complimentary ticket for this cruise raffle on board Allure of the Seas on April 23rd. These are exciting times in Rotary. It's an exciting time for the foundation, and our givers in North Texas are leading the way again in giving. It is truly an honor to be part of this premier service organization with a foundation that continues to rate as one of the best charities in the world. I'm Bill Denby, and we'll see you next time. All righty, and that's what the quick 6-minute video does. And thank you, you're so kind. But it's the idea that there's a lot of information to get out there, and a lot of people, you don't want to read a whole book on that, but we can look for a minute or two, and especially if Chris Lavario puts the backdrops and pictures in there, it's less painful to get a whole bunch of information at one time. And so if you have an interest in getting those emailed directly to you instead of just going to the president, let me know. Or y'all at Such Club, if you want to play those in the meetings, I'd be thrilled to have the information disseminated. But y'all did the work. Y'all you're leading the way on the World Polio Day. And it's very, very important that we continue to share with the world what Rotary is doing and encourage others to participate in our organization. I'm going to try to share the PowerPoint here. Did that come up?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir, please.
With the outbreak of polio in New York, what is Rotary doing to keep it from spreading back all through the U.S. because so many people didn't get inoculated because they thought it was over?
It's kind of interesting. We were talking about how we were so close, and now we're still close, but a little inch away or so. Ironically, polio getting into New York has been a bit of a blessing for the pressure to eradicate the disease. We always have said, theoretically, it's just a plane ride away. When the plane finally lands here, people are like, oh my gosh, we can go back to the 1950s where people are terrified to go out in the summertime, or this polio thing has got to get under control. And much of the polio we're seeing now is has been produced in the past through the vaccine-derived polio variant. We have vaccines now that are not derived from the virus itself, and so it cannot mutate into this variant, and it's a little more expensive to administer, but if we will push on through, the World Health Organization believes that we can truly be polio-free in the entire world in the next 3 to 5 years. That is so obtainable and so close. And I think that, as you state, that it woke people up to the importance of maintaining vigilant until the job is done. And Bill Gates said he's proud to be part of this eradication process, but he wasn't going to put his money into something that couldn't be finished, into something that didn't have an end in sight. And he was excited about supporting the eradication of polio because you know when you're done. Unlike feeding all the hungry in the world or getting all fresh water, that it's only the second virus that we've been able to eliminate. So as far as what's being done, the awareness campaign, the new vaccines, and the network that Rotary has put together for administering vaccines has been used for many other purposes than just administering polio vaccine. When they had the outbreak of Ebola, or even during COVID-19 to administer the vaccines to remote places, the Rotary's network provided the mechanism to do that in a few countries. So it's neat what we do as a group. All right, let me see if I can share this thing here. Is that up? Good, 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 good. All right. First group of slides, you know, I love Rotary. I love all the good things that we do. But years ago when I first joined Rotary, I joined the Rotary Club of Dallas. It was like 27 years ago. And 27 years ago, I was younger. I guess we all were younger. All right, dumb statement. But you know what I mean. I was younger. And when I joined the Rotary Club of Dallas, it was a club that was like 100 years old. And it looked like most of the members had been there from the beginning, if you know what I mean. It was an older kind of club. And they looked at me and they're like, hey, you're a young guy. You can do the Interact and you can do the Camp Enterprise, and we need a bulletin printed up every month. And I didn't want to disappoint, so I kept saying yes, 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 yes. And it wasn't too long before I about got Rotaried out. Anybody know what I mean by Rotaried out? Just like show of hands. Anybody been Rotaried out around here? Where are my friends? You can tell me.
Not yet.
Well, it can happen, especially when you have a few people carrying a lot of weight over and over again every year after year. It happens. Rotary's like the church. I mean, if you give the church a little bit of time, what do they want? Yeah, more of your time and all your money. That's exactly what they want. They want it all. And we're givers. We'll keep giving. And so I've had times in my life where I felt Rotaried out. But the cure for being Rotary out is to get Rotarized. And one way to get Rotarized is to go meet or look at the people that we're serving. Go to a service project that we're doing locally. Be there when they're able to give the Christmas gifts to the mom who said there would be no Christmas if it hadn't been for some generous people like y'all that showed up and provided Christmas. And she cried saying, I didn't know people really cared or would do this for us. It makes you uplifted to know that you can have that big of an impact on someone's life. It's such a small thing for us, but our organization that has a structure to make these things happen. Worldwide, these are my photographs from a couple trips I made to Malawi, Africa. And as I said, I never had an intention to go to Malawi, Africa. It wasn't anything I knew about. I knew it was somewhere in Africa. I couldn't even point on a map where Malawi was. I knew it was just somewhere in the middle there. Yet, when I took on the challenge to serve as governor, turned out that we had $40,000 in an account earmarked for Malawi. And it was earmarked for Malawi because years earlier, we had a district governor by the name of Kim Holland. Anybody here remember Kim Holland? Anybody know her besides Linda? Howard. Kim Holland was phenomenal, did great work. And she did a fundraiser to raise money for water wells in Africa. She said kids were spending 4 to 8 hours a day just carrying water. They had to go way far away to get the water and bring it back to the village, and the day was shot by the time they got back. And their thought was, we'll raise money to drill. The water was there. It was just underground. They drilled more wells, and then you pump up the water. And kids didn't have to walk at 4 to 8 hours a day, which allowed the opportunity for kids to be kids. I mean, and go to school maybe. I mean, it's kind of a neat program. And Kim Holland raised the money by having an event, as Rotarians were invited to participate, where it was a dinner fundraiser, and she had Marvin Hamlish as the entertainment. Y'all know who Marvin Hamlish is? Howard, do you know anything that Marvin Hamlish wrote?
He did piano, a lot of piano pieces.
And I don't mean to put you on the spot because I can't think of the stuff, but it's like all the show tunes that you probably heard about, the guys and the dolls and the 47th Street and all that stuff. He was at the piano while we were all sitting at dinner, and he was playing songs, and everyone, I'm like, I know that one. I can't believe he did that one and that one and that one and that one. He was one of the most prolific writers doing Broadway show tunes. And we talked about the need for the water wells in Africa, and he was so moved by the presentation that he said that we didn't have to pay him his honorarium. He said the honorarium that he was going to take, and he's world thought out and famous guy. He said, I would like to drill some water wells. That was pretty powerful. And then as we're sitting there, it was like, I don't know, it's like $500 or $600 to drill a water well. I'm sitting next to a buddy of mine. I'm like, I can't do a whole well, but you want to go into the well? And so we were all coming together and buying water wells by the table. And we were able to put a lot of water wells in Africa, and it made a tremendous difference. We had some of our folks from our district go to Malawi to see the water wells, to meet the families that we had been able to positively impact. And it turned out that even though the kids now had time, the young girls were not going to school because the public schools started charging students to go at the 8th grade level. And it was commonly believed that a family would not waste their money sending a girl to school, because why would you waste your money on a woman's education? Which sounded totally upside down and backwards. I believe if you educate mom, you educate the whole family. And if you're trying to turn around the cycle of poverty, that's what you want to do, is put education in the household somehow. Well, L.B. Showalter went from club to club to raise money for girls' education in Malawi. And so we'll cover the 8th grade to 12th grade year. And a high school diploma in Malawi is like what a college degree was here in the 1950s. It generally means you're going to have some opportunities. You're going to be one of the more successful people in the community if you can get through the high school. And so they raised a bunch of money, $40,000, and it's sat in our bank account for years. When I came to serve as governor, I asked, why has this money been here so long? And they said, well, we don't have a trustworthy partnership. And I went through the list of what they've been doing, trying to get that money spent. And Africa is a hard country to work in. I mean, to get the money to the people you want to get it to, it's kind of tricky. And we were going to just give it away. And so I prayed and discerned, so I needed to find a way to get the money to Africa. And lo and behold, we didn't have a Rotarian in the McKinney Rotary Club who worked for a company called cheaperthandirt.com. A gentleman that lives out in Denton, Texas, started an internet site to sell sporting goods and ammunition and stuff. And he's the largest seller, a privately owned company of ammunition and sporting goods on the internet. He's made so much money that he wanted to give back to the world, and he started a clinic in Malawi. And this is a picture of his clinic in Malawi that sees about 300 people a day. It's the #1 resource for medical care in a large area, and people walk for miles to get the medical care. And I let him know that we were having difficulties. He said, I know what it's like to have difficulties. We had a hard time. They bought the compound. They're running it like a U.S. company with U.S. and Malawian people on both sides. And he said that if we wanted to do girls' education, he would use the staff that they had on staff already at the hospital, and every dollar that we put in for education would go directly to girls' education, and they would handle the administrative side for us as a partner. With that statement and with that direction and that ability to select the young women and to make sure they're getting off the farms and into the schools, and they go to boarding school because the families will put them back to work so quickly that they do better in the boarding schools. So with that information, this is a picture in 2016 of our first girls that went through our scholarship program. And, 2 years later, I went back to Malawi in 2018. And you can see here, I took a few Rotarians. We had our first 3 graduates. Some of them started in their 3rd year or 2nd year instead of the 1st year of the 4-year education. Some were just really bright. And one of these young women was a refugee from Rwanda, a country that had a civil war. And she was in a refugee camp in Malawi and got her high school education, and now she's looking at law school. I mean, that's just unheard of for a person from that level to do that. And They have the same hopes and dreams that our children have. They see through now television and internet what they don't have. They want the ability to raise their own families in a safe, positive environment, and having an education makes all the difference for them. And these women are writing letters back to, and we have several Interact clubs that continue to support a girl in Malawi and to make sure that they get their education. It's only like $600 for a year. And to communicate with them and then to see them go out and do the work and know that we're really directly involved with these people, it's very, very uplifting. And so that's the solution. That's getting rotarized and caring about the foundation. The foundation allows us to do more than any one of us could do, more than any one club could do, more than any one district can do. With 1.4 million members worldwide, Rotary can do some things like the eradication of polio, like peace centers to educate people in peace and conflict resolution. I love the good work we do. And we are so blessed to be in a very generous district. This is showing from 2020 to 2021, the growth in giving. We've gone from about 300,000 to 382,000 last year. In 1 year, boom. Our polio giving from 80,000 to 100,000 in 1 year. These are the things we can control. The endowments and other things if somebody dies and leaves us money. But the things that we don't want them dying. So that's okay to be a low number. But the numbers that we can control, they've gone up considerably, 20 and 25%. And I think the reason is just most of us want to give. Most of us are natural givers. We just need to be reminded sometimes where to give. Our Rotary Foundation is a real gem to the organization. Our Rotary Foundation has the highest rating by Charity Navigator. It's a 4-star rating. It's rated several years ago, it was the #1 foundation among the world of charities and foundations rated by Charity Navigator. Over 3,000 of them, and Rotary International was #1. They continue to always be in like the top 10. And the reason is that the money's getting to where it's supposed to go because you have Rotarians working on both sides of the equation. Other people who care about their communities, just like y'all, making sure the money gets placed. Even if you were not a Rotarian, but you had a philanthropic motive and you were just researching best places to put your money, you should be aware of the Rotary Foundation. And as a Rotarian, Rotary International asks us to please support our foundation because that's how we meet the requirements of doing the good work that we want to do as an organization. And so much of what we give to the Rotary Foundation comes back to be used right here in our own clubs and our own districts. Now, I'm going to ask a question. How many of y'all have given to the foundation already? Because it's usually about half the members. Y'all better half, aren't you? Okay. I think others, it's like, well, no one ever showed me how to do that or what to do. And you go to My Rotary directly and give to the foundation. How much should you give? Well, as I said, people don't do this stuff for recognition. But when your cumulative gifts exceed $1,000, you're recognized as a Paul Harris Fellow. And I know we got a couple Paul Harris Fellows here. When your contributions exceed $10,000, they recognize you as a major donor. And recognition's all the way up. Over $250,000, and yes, we do have some Rotarians in our district that have given over $250,000 to the foundation. They get the recognition of an Arch Clump Society member. But it's, for some people, more difficult to give. How many of y'all are Paul Harris Fellows? Just show of hands. Like 3 or 4? 4 or 5? Okay. And that's $1,000. I was at the Richardson Rotary Club this week, and last year they got the banner for 100% Paul Harris Fellow Club. Everybody got one. Now, what was interesting is some of the folks who couldn't afford to make the $1,000 contribution were helped out with points by those who had points. If you are interested in doing that, talk to Howard, he'll show you how. But I think that's a neat recognition that a smaller club certainly has an opportunity to do if you have an interest. Years ago, again, over 20 years ago when I first joined Rotary. Yes, ma'am.
Bill, not to cut you off, but
Go right ahead.
one way that really helped me in my quest to get the $1,000 is the Paul Harris Fellow, where you give $88 a month. Can you share a little bit about that? Because that's how I give. I think that's a great way.
You are a blessing to this organization and to my talk, because that's exactly where I was going to go next, because I'm thinking about it right now. And that is, when I first started giving at the Rotary Club of Dallas, there are a lot of people that had a lot of money, and I didn't. And I worked for myself. Anybody here work for yourself? Maybe one or two of us?
Retired.
Yeah, unless you've done it, you don't know how scary that can be sometimes, where there's more outgo than there was income, and it may not just be 1 month that happens. And when people ask for a contribution of funds to my favorite charity, I'm like, my family's got to be my favorite charity at the moment. It's hard to think much beyond that when you're a little bit nervous.
Hold on. Wendy's getting her cover.
Now, I'm blessed and I'm grateful things got better. But when I was in my 30s, I was building my career. I was building my family. I was trying to figure things out. I loved Rotary. And I had a person come from the Rotary Foundation that was all about wheelchairs. Now, I don't know if y'all remember Tom Harmon, but we used to work with the Wheelchair Foundation. And he showed me pictures and took me out in Mexico where we picked a person up and put him in a wheelchair because there wasn't the money to afford a wheelchair, and that gave them mobility to get around on their own instead of crawling around. And they were literally crawling around, put in the wheelchair, whoop, wheeling off. And it freed them up, it freed up their family. It was the greatest gift. I'm like, I got to support that. I said, okay, you can. You can be a Paul Harris Society member. Now, the fellow is a person who gets $1,000 cumulatively. A society member is a person who gets $1,000 every year. I'm like, what? Every year? Like, that I don't know. They said, Bill, it's only $84 a month. Like, well, I guess I could. I spend $84 a month on dumber things. I guess I could sign up, and if I can't do it, I'll just undo it later. There's no Rotary police that will come get me, and I'm doing my best. And so I signed up for it, and I've been doing it year after year after year. And we did have tough times. There were times where we really had to have that conversation on, do we really need all these channels on TV? Can we cut something? Because things are a little tougher than I wanted to be. But every time, even when I got to that point, I didn't stop making that $84 contribution to the foundation because I believe in what we're doing. And I want a life that's bigger than what I can do by myself. I want to be part of something that's important. And this, I knew the money was going to people who really had a need and was being well managed. And it wasn't one of those send the money to the puppies on TV and the puppies may never see the money. This is people, and the people were actually getting the money, and I cared a lot about that. So through the good times and the bad, I kept giving. And then eventually, I got the major donor recognition. And like, wow, like, I don't know if I could have written a $10,000 check at the time I got the recognition, but it's like the 401k savings plan. If they take that money out of your paycheck before you see it, it's a little bit. One day you look up and you're like, wow. I don't think I could have ever been expected to write a check out of my take-home pay to do that, but it just grows on its own. Same thing with this growing giving, and that's why I love the Paul Harris Society. And I would encourage any of you who have a heart to do it, please sign up. You won't regret it, and it is important to the organization. I see a hand just went up there. Is that a real hand? It is. Okay.
Okay. Well, for those that sometimes, they're just starting out, $84 a month is still a lot. But there is a program called Every Rotarian Every Year, where it's really easy to do, $10 or $20 a month on a credit card. It's automatically taken out, and it adds up. And that's a way to get you started for the ones that cannot afford, or, at this time, because we have gone through a pandemic and all of that. But it is a way to give. And like what, one drink or one coffee or whatever a month. That's all it is. So if you can do $10 a month, it's every Rotarian every year. And they do give banners to clubs that do that. So I just want to throw that in too.
I think that's a good point in that Rotary asks us to support the foundation. And some clubs, when they collect dues, they collect money for the foundation. They'll collect $25 a quarter from each Rotarian to send to the foundation. Each Rotarian is doing $100 a year. And that's just, we're here, we're doing a piece of it. I know that we didn't structure this club in that fashion, but it is part of the culture of Rotary. But also, I agree with you, Linda. I didn't have money when I first started the Rotary Club of Dallas, and there were some very affluent people there. We bring what talent we have. When I first got started, I had time and energy. Now, it's easier to make a financial donation, but I still give a lot of time and energy because I love what we do. And so I'm here to serve you guys as a foundation chairperson. Happy to show you how to get money out of the foundation, how the money comes back to the clubs to direct if you care to learn about that as a group. You've got a lot of talent within the organization, within your club, with people who've worked within Rotary for a long time and people who actually started on a foundation, thank you, Andy, that are helping us grow the knowledge base of how this all fits together. But there are so many different facets. So if you know someone would be a great candidate for a Peace Scholarship, that's foundation. If you want to do a project locally with the dollars that you have contributed into the foundation, the district grant, that's foundation. If you want to do a project globally, like what we're working on for Roatan and Cozumel for our district conference cruise, that's foundation. So I'm here to help out in any way I can. I hope a few of y'all will go to the district conference cruise. The district conference, every year, a district has a party where they bring all of our Rotarians together from our members in the area. Sorry, Howard. But what's kind of cool about this district conference is they're doing the district conference like a real party. If so many of these district conferences, they haven't been to get everybody together and share ideas and enjoy other like-minded people and have this Rotary experience. They've been boring lectures. Not to complain, but I like to go someplace with a little bit of fun thrown in. This year's district conference is going to be on a cruise ship, a 7-day cruise where they do all the conference during the days at sea. And when we get to places like Roatan, we can get off and do the charity work. Or just go to the beach. You can do what you want to do when you get there. And the cost is only like $350 plus the port charge. It's like $600 to $700 for 7 days of cruising. $100 a day. I can't eat 3 meals a day in Dallas for $100. I'm trying to convince my wife that if I don't go, it's going to cost me money. I've got to go on this cruise. But it's good to be with friends from Rotary. It's great to do the work. It's great to be on this cruise ship, Allure of the Seas, which you saw the video and the talk about it. So I hope a couple of y'all can carve out the time and do it. And again, even if you weren't a Rotarian, for $700 for an Oasis class cruise ship out of Galveston, it's a good deal. And so for those of you who go, I hope I'll be working side by side with you on the schools that we're doing in Cozumel and Roatan, Honduras. And I guess that's all I really have tonight, unless y'all have questions or want to talk about council and legislation or anything else.
I was just going to say you could also donate once a year. Like I have it on an auto pay, so once a year I give my donation. So you can do it on a monthly or an annual, maybe after you get your tax return. So whatever you do give, it helps. It's not a matter of how much you're giving as much as give what you can. Even if it's a little bit, it goes to a good cause.
And also the Bill Gates Foundation matches it 2 to 1.
On the polio giving, that's right, on polio.
Yeah. So,
Alrighty, folks. Well, I truly appreciate being here with you, and I'm gonna enjoy working with y'all. And if y'all ever have a project or get together, please include me. I do have great affinity for you guys in the club, and I don't know, Rotary really is a special organization, and as good as it is, we need to remember for all the good work we do in the world and in our local communities, some of the best work we do is right here for each other. I think that no matter what else goes on, I hope you look forward to your Tuesday nights when you can meet people who you don't see every day, cut up a little bit online, find out how everyone's doing, and minister to each other. I think that is probably one of the nicest things about our Rotary organization. And I've seen people in great needs, or Rotarians are the ones that showed up when they were at the end of their life. And I'm not going to go into it because it'll make me cry. And Linda Elliott was part of that too when our sweet friend Beverly Grogan passed away in December. For 2 weeks, it was Rotarians who came in one after another to see her in her last days. She'd never been married, never had children, and made friends through meetings like this, because after you visit with each other every single week for several years and do some wonderful projects together and travel together, you're closer than a lot of families. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
Let me
I'm
know when
glad
you're in
that I know.
Orlando. Let me
okay,
know.
also, we are getting a district grant. The last couple of years, we have applied for a district grant for our tuberculosis project in Mexico. So we do utilize the grant. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. Remember to let me know when you're coming to Orlando. I'm going to meet
Okay.
you. I'm meeting Linda and David, but I'll meet you too when you're there. If any of you are heading that way, let me know.
I'm trying to talk Bill into coming too.
Oh, that would be fine. She's got a
Register
huge
now,
room.
Bill.
She's got
Register
two
now.
bedrooms. It's plenty of space.
And also a couch.
David cooks a great breakfast, but I don't think I can make it this time round.
Okay. All righty.
Well, thank you
I don't
all for coming. Let's do our four-way test of the things we think, say, and do, and wrap up our meeting. And it was a great presentation, Bill, as always. The four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will build goodwill and better friendships. And fourth, will be beneficial to all concerned. Just one more thing. Kim Holland was who got me in Rotary. So that was how I ended up in Rotary. I did a program at the Prestonwood Club, and she said, "Why don't you join?" I said, "I travel all the time as a speaker. I can't." And then back then you had to have attendance, and I said, "I can't commit to being there every week because I don't know where I am every week. I'm always traveling." She said, "Join the E Club." She says, "You can travel, and even if you don't make the meetings, you can watch the video." I said, "I can do that," and that's how I ended up in the E Club. It was Kim Holland. She also had Rotary University, and I don't know what happened to her, but she was a wonderful part of the organization, and I miss her, and I'm sorry she isn't as involved as she used to be.
Well, she's in Michigan now.
I didn't
And
know that.
also, Bill, we did a meeting from Sydney, Australia on our Zoom deal with the other thing. So, I did it from Russia a couple of
We
times.
had one from Perth.
We had
not
one.
Sydney.
No,
Michael McLean.
no. Bill did one that morning outside,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then I've done
okay.
them from Russia. We've done them. I did one from Qatar. I've done them all over the world. And at 2:00 in the morning, 1:00, the people I'm staying with says, "Linda, can you be quiet?" But we had our meeting.
So thank you all for coming. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. If you can make the live meeting, please do. I'll be online, but if you can make it, it would be great for you to be in person for a change. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.